굴단한테 걸리면 다 죽습니다. 또 하나 죽어요.
세이퍼.
굴단. 이거는 3연봉이에요. 히어로즈계의 3연봉이에요. 3연 루예요. 예, 정말 같은 거에 3번 당하는 거 어려운 일이거든요.
그렇죠.
루나라 그 자체. 또 외로워졌어요. 춤이라도.
좀 주고 싶은데.
물렸어요.
야, 이러면 잡히죠.
진짜 너무 불쌍해. 두 데미지 또 죽었어요.
프리콤을 이용해줘요.
역시.
나옵니다. 노챗의 자리안.
오늘 자리에 있으니까 이게 미는 속도가 진짜 장난 아니죠.
그렇죠. 노챗은 움직이지도 않아요.
말뚝들이죠.
네.
그 루나라 그렇죠.
짜리야.
여기서 이다면 어떻게 노챗 엄청 맞았어요.
이게 자리야. 왜 자리야를 배나면서
노챗급 말뚝들 이거 진짜
난 움직이지 않는다.
제다이
난 움직이진 않는다.
노챗 안 움직여.
노챗 안 움직여. 노챗.
왜 움직여요?
노챗 안 움직여. 노챗 안 움직여.
내가 바로 자리야 그 자체.
안 움직이고.
올라운더처럼 지원가를 하고 있는 노챗 이준현이라고 합니다.
자리야를 꺼낼 때마다 어떤 생각이 좀 들어요?
제일 재밌는 것 같아요.
그거 제일 중요합니다.
혹시 오버워치 가서 자리야 할 생각은 없나요?
해봤는데
네.
거기선 좀 안 돼요?
FPS는 멀리가 있어서 좀 안 되더라고요.
역시 노챗의 자리야는 히어로즈 오브 더 스톰에 있어야죠.
그렇습니다.
네.
After discovering her factory and the surrounding city in danger of being invaded by beings from other worlds, CEO Katya Volskaya immediately began work on a new mech series to defend her homeland from the denizens of the Nexus. Now, the Triglav Protector is ready for testing. Volskaya Foundry is a medium-sized, 3-lane battleground. At the top, center, and bottom of the foundry sit 3 control points. Periodically, a control point will activate, and teams must vie for control of the point to acquire a massive mech vehicle. Ownership of a point can be gained by standing inside the designated area. However, if an enemy happens to also enter the area, the point will become contested until the foe is eliminated. Once a team assumes possession of a point, they will begin to accrue victory progress at a steady rate. Teams must remain in the area to continue this progress, as stepping away will eventually return the point to a neutral state. As in Overwatch, if a control point reaches 99% and an enemy remains to contest, the point will enter an overtime state. This overtime state will only last a few seconds, but it is reset whenever an enemy player steps onto the point. Once a team's victory progress finally hits 100%, they will close out the objective and initiate deployment of a Triglav Protector. The Protector is similar to other piloted objectives in Heroes of the Storm, like the Dragon Knight or Garden Terror, but it is unique as a 2-person vehicle. The first person to enter the Protector will assume its pilot position. This player will control the mech's movement and use of sieging and support abilities. Charge will propel the Protector toward a targeted enemy's position, dealing area damage around it and double damage to structures and minions. Rocket Fist launches a concussive fist that will root the first hero it hits or disable a targeted structure for a brief period of time. When activated, Shield Emitter will provide the mech armor and grant a shield to allies in its proximity. The second person to enter the Protector will take on the gunner position and has access to a deadly set of damage-dealing abilities. After a range-defining windup, the Protector's particle cannon can launch a projectile to a target location, dealing area damage upon impact. The mech can also initiate Gatling Cannon, unleashing an ongoing barrage of missiles at your cursor location for a brief period. Or activate its Scorching Laser to cut a line in the terrain that will trigger a delayed explosion for heavy damage. In addition to the Protector, spread across Volskaya Foundry are 5 mercenary camps, 2 siege camps, 2 turret mercs, and a singular support camp. Utilize the pushing power and activatable resources from these camps to bolster your team's aggression and push further into enemy territory. The control points across Volskaya are unique in a few ways. Each layout is different and will require you to engage the objective with a variety of tactical strategies. On top of that, the addition of moving conveyor belts around the points brings a dose of chaos that can amplify your team's approach or stifle it completely. Make sure you understand the direction each conveyor belt is moving around your point when you decide to engage or retreat. Even if your back is against the wall and it looks like the enemy is about to capture a point, do not lose hope. If you defensively dive a point before it hits 100%, the enemy cannot secure victory with you present. Safely hold your ground and get your team to back you for a team fight that could turn the tide. You do not want to underestimate the power of the Triglav Protector. In the hands of talented players, this mech can unload a ridiculous amount of damage. Volskaya Foundry is primed to test its remarkable new technology. How are you with mechs? Ready to be a pilot? A gunner? Or just a test dummy? We'll see you in the Nexus.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to HGC Korea. We are in part 2 of phase 2 for 2017, and we are now headed into our final match of the night, BlossoM versus RRR.
Should be a closer series from what we see so far. Maybe some different picks though. Both of these teams do not really pick Leoric too much, which is a difference. And still their hero pool seems to be a big problem, especially for RRR. I think Greymane again will be the hot pick in match number 2.
I get behind that. Yeah.
Yes, I do agree because it's what I said.
Yeah, and it's been doing really well today, 4-0 win rate pretty much. Given that L5 won the last team fight, you could say that like that was not Greymane related even, that they lost the game. They just lost the boss, they lost the first map there. But we're going into a pretty interesting map for our first one here. We'll talk about that in a moment when after we introduce the teams and give a little spiels about them, do the whole little like use the key players, the heroes they played recently, this is what they like to do, and talk about their history a little bit, and we talk a little bit about like what we might expect to see in the draft. Once we're done with all that, then I'll talk about the map.
Seems like we're having something else from the Korean side. Maybe we're not getting it. I hope we get it though. I think it's about time for us to fade out. Nope.
Well, spoiler alert. We were supposed to have a video play of the Marine buying the
do not spoil.
buying the meat for the player that got the untouchable stack sign with Tempest, but for some reason I guess it's not. Maybe it's not translated, so it's not going to happen on our stream.
Maybe that's why I didn't get it.
So
that means there's no translations on it. But
so I guess we could tell the story of what happened at. Never mind. Here it is. So we're just going to talk over this. Is just a photo. It looks like. Oh no, we have a video. Sick aspect ratio. Sign is eating that.
Seems like Honkano's taking the video. Guys, stop acting. Act normal.
So.
무조건 이기자. 우리 몽, 우리 치, 우리 캐.
This is what a traditional Korean barbecue restaurant looks like, by the way. For those who've never seen this before. So you cook your own meat and then eat it. No one cooks it for you.
Sometimes they cook it for you.
You're at certain restaurants.
They're not busy.
But this is a pretty standard, Korean barbecue-looking place. You cook the meat on there and then you eat it. And
I'm hungry now.
Yeah, me too. I had some snacks. I could have eaten during the break, and I was like, nah, you know what? I'm not that hungry. But now I have regrets.
K barbecue after cast sounds good.
So there you have it. Yeah, they went to the barbecue because Sign got the untouchable stacks completed, and we'll see if that happens for anybody else. Maybe I should make a bet. The Korean commentators won't know, but I'll tell them afterwards. So, like, this could happen. Maybe I should make a bet with one of the players somehow through the casting. Maybe I'll buy some dinner from people if something crazy like that happens again.
Yep, and Onkano, the entire crew was basically hoping that MVP Black 3-0s L5 tomorrow, which is happening tomorrow, so that Tempest can actually... Is it... If my math is correct, because Mighty took a set off of L5, actually. I think L5, if they are 0-3 from MVP Black, I think they will drop down to 3rd.
I have the stats
and Tempest will be staying
I wish I could. I'm like trying to save you, like, because you're probably correct, but I want to confirm. But for some reason, literally only that paper is missing. Here it is.
It was on the desk this entire time.
All right. So with the loss, let's take. Since for some reason I have some downtime, let's take a look at this. So with they're now at a 32-12 score, 9-3, and Tempest is at 30-15, so that puts them at a 5-game deficit. So they're at a 5-game deficit to L5 currently. But if Black wins against L5, it will at least close one of those gaps, so it could make it like a 4 instead of a 5. But yeah, they're not guaranteed by any means.
Yeah, we'll see. Of course, Tempest, as you saw from the video, they were hoping that happens, but not yet. And I don't know what's taking so long before we go into match number 2.
Yeah, I'm really not sure either, and I was really trying to hold that cough in as I'm a little sick, but I just couldn't hold it anymore because we were on camera for a long time. But yeah, we're heading into this one now. I think this is an opportunity for RRR to take another series for sure. And actually, let me grab that paper back again because I wanted to look at their standings as well. RRR is 1-11 right now, and obviously if BlossoM wins this, it basically guarantees them the higher seed over Miracle, which I believe will guarantee them the choice of either first pick or the MAC pick going to Game 1.
But RRR will be going to the Crucible for sure.
Yeah,
There's
RRR
no way of
Crucible.
climbing up, along with Raven.
So for BlossoM, if they win this, they become 6-7, and there will be no way for Miracle to pass them, even if they won all of their remaining matches. So that's why it really matters for Miracle for RRR to win. So that is like one extra incentive to add into all of this.
Finally.
All right, here we go.
have the team. RRR. Of course, they couldn't really. They're saying they couldn't really find too much practice time. Seems like they are busy with what they have to do in their personal time also, and it has been hurting a little bit. Even the match against Raven, they were wrecked.
Yeah, it was not even
Raven.
close. It was not even close. Then they won their last series against Raven. I don't know what's changed between then and now, but perhaps just less practice, as you say. It's very hard to be motivated at the end of an HGC season when you know there's going to be a long break before the Crucible, and that's what matters more than anything else. And you will not make playoffs no matter what. So it's very difficult to stay motivated, I think, at times like that as a league player, because in something like the Super Tournament, right? You practice for your match day. You either win or you lose. If you lose, you practice for next season or you go to a different team. But in league play, you end up playing for a long period of time. And the last few matches just feel like they're meaningless sometimes. But I think the best way to look at this for RRR is to take this as, again, just gaining experience, trying to learn how to handle losses, trying to learn how to improve in a best-of-5 series, make those adaptations, because that will become important when we go to that best-of-7 that they will play in the Crucible. So, open division teams looking to be a similar skill as last season, around the same skill as RRR, so they need to be ready for that. And if they think they're just going to cram the practice in the week before and win it, those teams are hungry, man. They want that HGC salary. They want to be in this league. And they will take it from this team if they are not prepared.
Okay, of course, that will be the big thing. The Crucible will be happening for RRR for sure, but BlossoM, this is a big change for this team. Phase 1, they struggled a lot and dropped down to Crucible, but after that moment, they had some roster change. They have Gondar in, Mora coming in as a flex now, and Gondar has been making crazy super plays with Stitches, with ETC. I think he is a superstar in this team.
Yeah. It was a really impressive series against Mighty that they played, and it was all Gondar. Stitches he played, the ETC, his Anubarak, which he's so good at, but the Stitches play was just straight up carrying them, and it was done twice with 2 wins, where he didn't really have follow-up CCs to get the kills. It was just really good long-range hooks, and the team just really able to capitalize on those moments so well. That I think that's something that we really will see a lot of going into the series. No Chat Zarya as well, which closed their series out against Mighty, was really amazing to watch there. The Zarya play was on point, and that's something that we will see a lot of, I think, going into BlizzCon. Zarya was always a big pick in BlizzCon in the Fall Championship last year, and it feels like around this time of year, people are starting to figure out that she's quite good in Korea as well. Didn't see any in our last series, but it's definitely something that this team has as like an X factor. And No Chat's always been one of the best Zaryas in Korea.
He has been known as the Zarya favorite of Korea, but after changing his role to a support, he's been very solid on the support role also, along with Dudu or Wiz on a double support sometimes. BlossoM actually does not really prefer to play double support, and Wiz also said that it's the meta, they're just following it, and they actually do not want to use double support so much because No Chat is the support, but there's not the second one. Having this dedicated second support is always a problem. That's what he said. Okay, with that, we're going into Towers of Doom.
Towers of Doom. It's going to be the starting map. I know we had that long lead up to where we were going to go for starting map, but it's here now. It's revealed. This is going to be the map we make the first map, or sorry, make the first game on. This will be a map pick of BlossoM. RRR will start with first pick, so they can try to control the draft with this. Let's see what sort of tactics they employ. The way this map has been drafted has changed so much over the year. Like in Korea, in the beginning of the year, Li Ming was first pick, first ban material because of her missiles with delay. It was delay tactics to try to split push when the global meta was the meta, where Falstad was so meta, the Dahaka meta was real. The beginning of the year, that was all this map was about. But now, at the end of the year, it's more about the laning parts and the solo laner and clear times for the caps, things like that. So Greymane is obviously such a great hero on any map, but is going to be very highly prioritized here. So let's see how they decide to send this one.
I wonder if Wiz will get on that birdie once more and pick Falstad. Have their ban coming out from RRR. Maybe they will actually try to use some globals on the other side.
Could be. A little bit of a hold here for BlossoM on their first ban.
BlossoM does prioritize their solo lane a lot. And also the Lucio ban.
He's rising, man. Watch out
and
for this.
Ariel is not the most popular support on the other side, but they do pick it.
Okay.
When it's open.
When it's open, you got to take it. Interesting. I wonder what they will run with it, because again, like you say, they don't really run this composition very often. It's very often banned anyways, but
the more and more I see, I think Korea is having their own meta.
it feels like Korea's having a lot of revelations recently. It feels like the meta is like advancing very quickly this season. We're not seeing like stale meta. It's like every week is a little bit, you know, moved forward. Lucio just being so understood right now. And the BlossoM is looking for a TAS duo, I think, here. It's going to be TAS, and another support could be TAS Lunara.
If they want to go for a dive, they can bring in Rrr in this rotation.
Yeah, Rhaegar's got the better camp clear time for those.
Genji
wow,
seems
Genji.
like
Genji Anubarak, so drafting around Gondar here quite heavily with the Anubarak pick, and the Genji coming out means that they do want to put Dudu on that to have the hyper mobility and good delay tactics on the altars. But this is going to be the first Genji of the day. And what was once permanently the first pick, yeah, is now so rarely seen. So RR now has the ability to get the godlike, they can go TAS Vala here, they can go TAS Lunara, they can go Uther Lunara. Like, RR has, in terms of the meta that we know and accept to be true because it's such weird picks out of BlossoM, like that's crazy they picked that in terms of the meta we know. They can get anything they want with the Ariel. This is going to be the best Ariel comp the world has ever seen. But they're not doing it because they're suspicious. And they do lock it in eventually, but they were like, all right, well, it feels like they want us to do this, so let's think about this a little bit before we lock it in.
Even when Uther is open, Ariel Uther win rate in Korea is it's insane, close to 80-something% from what I remember, just until last weekend, I believe. But that's still open. But RR does love to play Tastar. They always first pick Tastar when they have the first pick, but because Ariel was open, they took it instead. A little different story this time, but they still do have Ariel plus Tassadar and an auto attack Vala, I think. Less likely for Q Vala to come out.
Yeah, probably going to be the auto attack. I mean,
auto or just grenade, you know.
Genji's deflect works well against both types. I guess it's not really. It's not like you have to pick one or the other against the Genji. So the ban here is a tough one because they already got everything they could have ever wanted, right? And now you kind of just scratch your head going, well, what else do they need? They need a soul laner.
A tank ban. BTC is still open.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they do have Anubarak in their hands already. So
yeah, that's a good way to put it. Greymane to remove the DPS. RR is not going to pick any more DPS ranged, so they just want to.
RR going for hyper carry on their own. Seems like they don't need any more damage.
Definitely not. This is a great ban, I think. because Genji is very difficult to run as solo DPS, and BlossoM very rarely will do that. So I like the Greymane ban a lot. It would have been a great secondary source of damage.
Let's see. I'm not the biggest fan with Greymane ban. Even though it's a good solid ban, I think there are lots of good tools on the other side. We saw, I think Lunara is always a good counter to Vala if they can have a pretty good support, and all the poison damage over time. Sometimes not really effective against double support because of the output of healing, but once you get Vala to not do any damage when Auriel cannot do heal, that's exactly when Genji will come out from the side with the blade and get the kills. I think it can work pretty well.
I actually want to see a Gul'dan here. I think Gul'dan is a great choice. Still an opportunity at the end of the draft. We're going to see the solo laner is Dahaka. I think that Gul'dan is cool here because he can disrupt the flow and can then set up for a good Dragon Blade, can also ruin the healing, stop the Aegises from going down. I think Gul'dan is a fantastic choice here. As a secondary damage, he can delay alter channels.
Yeah, not in Korea, but oftentimes in EU and also NA. Use Gul'dan against all the auto attacks on the other side. It has been somewhat effective. Actually, win rate is not so bad also. Around 60%. But barely ever used in Korea, especially in the lower teams of the league here.
This feels like a Muradin tank here. Muradin, maybe Diablo, but very likely the Muradin. I think Diablo's a really strong option against the Genji. And then, you know, we'll see the solo laner. There's a lot of options. Malthael is a great one, though. Tyrael on the other side.
Maybe they still need a global, as this is Towers of Doom.
Okay, Garrosh Sonya.
Solo lane.
So that's a different way of dealing with the Genji. So solo Garrosh, solo tank Garrosh. You've got Sonya in the top lane to fight against Dahaka. That's a bad matchup for Dahaka these days, with Sonya being... and the thing is, Sonya's not really changed, but people are figuring out how to play her better in the solo lane against Dahaka, in Korea exclusively. Gul'dan is like my... I really want it, but I feel like with the Garrosh there, Sonya, it's like, ooh, I don't know, is that going to work? Like,
it's hard to escape sometimes.
I mean, they need burst damage of some kind. Tychus is actually not out of the question here.
Burst damage that can pierce through the armor and the healing and the shielding. Is there such a hero? They can do all that? Of Greymane, but of course banned.
Banned, of course. Tychus, Gul'dan, Jaina.
Jaina is a pretty good option, actually. Never mind.
Okay, they're
DPS
gonna try to do
support.
they're gonna try to do Genji's solo carry, basically.
I am not too excited from BlossoM's draft.
Neither am I. I think that
I
they
can
will.
tell from your tone.
They can. Hey, look, I'm a little bit sick. I'm not that disappointed, but I think that they could do a lot with the Vala now, because there's just not enough damage to kill her. Dragon Blades are going to have to be perfect, and Aegis just shuts that down. Then how do you ever kill the Vala? That's my biggest concern going into this draft here for BlossoM. I think they had a different plan, got ruined in the draft, and this is a flex pick for them. Let's find out if they can make it work, guys, as we head to the Towers of Doom for game number 1. RRR Odak on Garrosh, MSG on Sonya, EGZ on Tastar, Kong on Vala, Tekaluk on Auriel.
And Red BlossoM weighs on Dehaka, Gondar on Nubarak, Mora on Karazim, Dutu on Genji, no chat on Luther.
I think the way that BlossoM can win this game in like the extended parts, the longer parts, are going to be from really good picks. If you cocoon the Auriel and you dive in with the Anubarak, you can then isolate targets. Dragon Blade can do really well. The problem with that is, as we just already saw, Garrosh is very happy to catch that bug when he comes in this case using the Lurker skin. When that big Anubarak Lurker comes in, he's going to find himself very quickly further away than he would have liked to be. there are ways to help protect the Ariel to make sure she doesn't have to self-Aegis.
Here's the thing, can Genji even scratch any of the tanks on the other side, like Garrosh or Sonya? I don't think that's going to happen too many times in this game. I think BlossoM went too far. Maybe they're thinking of 2019 with Ana in their team or something. If that nano boost is there with Genji Blade, I think that's possible, but ooh, can Karazim do the same?
I think Rrr has incredible tools to fight against everything that BlossoM is trying to do. Okay, this is one way you isolate a target. They do have the hope to heal, but here comes another follow-up stun. There's no Aegis to save him this time. Okay, this is going to be a pick for sure, it looks like. Odog gets another heal here.
Maybe not
tries
so
to get away
with the armor.
But Kong goes down instead.
Okay. Why? Okay, Vala was overextending a lot.
This is exactly what I'm talking about, though. If Gondar becomes the playmaker here, which we know he will be very likely in this comp, if he can consistently get these stuns and these picks, then they can win the game by getting ahead early and then win the fight with good cocoon usage post 10. That's how I see this game being a win for BlossoM.
Oh, let's see. With the Dehaka, there was a pick, and Sonya didn't push into the lane too far. And I expect MSG to win this lane, but so far, it seems like Wiz is actually pushing this a lot more. MSG really being cautious of what's happening around the map because they still don't know, and they're still into the camp.
Okay. Gonna trade top altars with the top laners. Delay coming in here for BlossoM. Daka can come down faster, so that's a huge opportunity for him to rush talk in, turn the fight. Might be his opportunity right now. He's gonna come in, getting a really good angle here. And again, Gondar just with the stuns here. They chain them together. And this is domination out of BlossoM.
Vala was right in the center of all 5 BlossoM members. And you will not be safe. You cannot survive if you're not doing damage. Even the shield and the healing coming out from Ariel, Taslar was not enough. And positioning, of course, my friend, as everyone knows, is the key to win, especially if you're DPS. If you're in the front line, not in the back or the side, next to your support, you will be dead even if you're protected somewhat.
Oh, nice knock up here onto MSG. And yet again, Gondar makes a play. 4 for 4. He's been the reason why they've been able to get these kills. Almost wanted to force out a dimensional shift there. He certainly could have, and then they could have tried to gank HGC. I think that's going to be the next play after this.
That throw was close, but it's a Genji.
It's a Genji, so it doesn't matter. HGC is going to actually get zoned out for some of these shots. Oh, good size storm actually. We'll get all of them. Never mind. Thought she was going to lose some of those minions of EXP. And again, we're just seeing Gondar roam the map. It's terrifying Anubarak play right now. Oh, that's another pick. Like, where's the heals? Doesn't matter when your Ariel is stunned. That's going to be more than, wow, this is just... This is, I mean, I don't want to sound like a prophet or anything. And, you know, you and I were pretty disappointed with BlossoM's draft, but the one tool they have to get picks is the Anubarak, and boy, are they getting them. 6 now. 6 kills to 0 at 4 minutes in the game. This game might come to a very abrupt end if this continues. Getting the forced dimensional shift. Very annoying, very long cooldown. 2 altar phase. Can BlossoM get both? They have a global, so they're getting further ahead in experience during all of this. I'm liking their position a lot here, G-Club. This is not a good situation for RRR. They're on the same talent tier at least, so this is the last chance they're going to be able to make a big play before 10.
And they have to.
It's not the spirit MSG was looking for.
Even every single of those spears has to land on the perfect target. If they can get Genji or even Karazim overextending like that, that will be the best. But so far, it seems like Kong is the one actually mispositioning all the time. Gondar is isolated, but here comes Dudu and the rest of the team from the other side.
HGC is going to go down, but they get the kick onto Gondar. The problem is that this is just still too much damage for them to deal with. Tekaluk is trying to put these heals out, but just not quickly enough. No level 7 cooldown reduction anymore. So still a fight they can win, even 3v4, because of how Ariel works and how much healing output raw they can actually do here.
But without Ariel, there's no more
anymore.
healing coming out, and Mora will be safe. And Genji will be getting another kill.
I bet there was somebody out there that thought maybe Vala could have lived there.
No way.
I bet there was one guy out there who was like, well, maybe she gets out. No. So it will be the double altars here for BlossoM. and level 10. Is this game over? No. Is this going to be the biggest comeback in the history of our season if they win it? Yes.
Yes. I do agree with that. And
it is just now a incredible deficit to fight against, and the Cocoon is going to be a guaranteed pick here. Oh, man.